now take a focus on trade relations. Brussels says it's ready to sign a temporary framework deal with the US on trade tariffs. The agreement sets President Trump's proposed reciprocal tariff rate at 10% while negotiations continue. However, EU officials admit they don't expect to secure the same level of US market access as Britain. Key sectors like steel and cars will still face existing duties. Talks are ongoing as both sides try to avoid a wider trade clash. While staying on the topic, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is expected to visit Japan next week for the 2025 World Expo in Osaka. The trip comes just days after President Trump announced the plan to raise tariffs on all Japanese imports to 25% starting on August the 1st. This, if a trade deal cannot be agreed by that date. This will be Bessent's first visit to Japan since trade talks began in April. Tokyo's lead negotiator has travelled to Washington 7 times since then. Officials say Bessent's visit is focused on the Expo and no formal trade meetings are planned, but both sides agree talks will continue. Moving to Central America now, and 2 people have been killed and several others injured after a series of earthquakes rocked Guatemala on the 8th of July. According to national disaster officials, the victims died when their vehicle was buried under a landslide triggered by the tremors. The incident occurred near the city of Antigua, Guatemala, southwest of the capital. Seismological services reported that the earthquake swarm reached up to 5.6 magnitude, centred near Amatitlan and Otanego in the Central Highlands. The tremors caused widespread panic in Guatemala City, with anti-quake alarms sounding and buildings evacuated across the capital. President Bernardo Arévalo confirmed that a family of 5 was briefly trapped and later rescued. 2 others sustained injuries and were treated by emergency teams. Tremors were also felt in parts of El Salvador as the region remains highly seismically active due to the Caribbean and Cocos tectonic plates. Authorities are continuing damage assessments and residents have been urged to stay alert for aftershocks.